So most people, they think that Lincoln is just like another quiet suburb, but it's not. It's actually one of those places where families that move here end up staying for 20 plus years. Retirees end up being busier than they were when they actually worked. And, Bay Area transplants, realize that they've hit the jackpot. So today I'm going to show you a map view of how Lincoln is really laid out. Where people live, where people work, where people eat, where you get medical care, where you play golf, where you shop, where the kids go to school, the whole shebang, so that way you know how everything is laid out. And we're also going to take a look at how Lincoln is really, kind of connected to Roseville and Rockland and Sacramento. And, for those military folks out there, how close in proximity it is to Beal Air Force Base. And, by the end of this video, you're going to know if, Lincoln is just really a nice place to visit, or it's possibly your next zip code. All right, let's go ahead and dive in here, and I'm going to pull up Google Maps, and we're going to zoom in here on right here in downtown Lincoln. It's also called Old Town, and this is really where the city began. So here in Old Town Lincoln, we've got small restaurants and some coffee shops, antique stores, basically local businesses, and they host seasonal events here and farmers markets, and there's little parades. The kind of place where people still accidentally, run into their neighbors at lunch. So it's got that small town feel still. So a lot of our buyers that come to Lincoln look around and they say that it really feels like kind of human scale. It's very walkable, very familiar, and just really like old school experience. So the homes around downtown Lincoln really vary a lot. Everything from the smaller historic homes to remodeled ones to newer infill lots. You can basically find homes in here for around the low to mid 400s into the 6s, depending on the size and the amenities and just the different things that they offer. Now, I chose to start this map tour in downtown Lincoln because, while downtown gives you lots of personality, Lincoln does actually give you a lot of options. Let's move on. All right, so next we're gonna move on to Lincoln Crossing. Let's go back to the map here and pull this up. You can see that we're gonna slide a little south here, and this whole area is Lincoln Crossing. This is one of the largest master plan communities in the city. There's parks everywhere, walking trails, sports fields, community pools. The schools are built directly into the neighborhoods, and this is where a lot of relocating families land first. Now, price-wise, Lincoln Crossing is one of the widest ranges in home prices. So like the smaller homes and the older resales, they're down into the low 400s, but the newer stuff and the larger homes, they push on up into 7, 8, even 900,000. And from the lifestyle perspective, Lincoln Crossing is really built for convenience. You're only about 5 to 10 minutes away from groceries and schools and gyms and restaurants and, of course, Highway 65. Now let's talk schools for a minute, because I know for a lot of our buyers, a lot of our clients, schools are very important. So one of the things that Lincoln does very well is neighborhood-based schooling. In both Lincoln Crossing and 12 Bridges, kids actually attend elementary school right there in the community. And of course, these community elementary schools feed right into the middle schools, and then they move right into the main high schools that serve the entire city. Now this is where I'm going to slow down, because Lincoln's high schools are a huge draw. Let's go ahead and pull up Google Maps here again. Now, Lincoln High is a traditional high school right here. And then 12 Bridges High is newer, it's larger, and it's one of the most talked about schools in the area. It's got the modern facilities, the strong athletics, and growing athletic programs, and that's right over here. And a lot of buyers are moving from Sacramento Bay Area or out of state, and they literally choose neighborhoods based on these boundaries. It's not because one is right or one is wrong, but families, they want to plant roots where kids will stay in one system, and typically they plan to be there for years. And Lincoln is very friendly to that kind of stability. But by the way, if we haven't met yet, I'm Reese, real estate broker, and I've lived here in Northern California, my entire life, all over Sacramento and Placer County. And my team and I, we love helping people relocate here to Lincoln, California, and all the nearby communities and cities. Bay Area transplants, Midwesterners, East Coast from New York City, military families, you name it. We're helping people move here and relocate to Northern California. And if you're thinking about moving here to Lincoln or anywhere in Northern California for that matter, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. That way you don't miss out on any future videos. And all my contact information is in the description if you'd like to book a call and get any other information aside from what you see here on this video too. And if you do book that call, make sure to ask me about my Heroes program. It's for nurses and EMTs and firefighters, police and military. It's a special program I've created just for you local heroes. It gives 10% of our gross commission back to you at closing. There are some small restrictions apply, but we'll go over all the details and the impact that it can make on you during that call. All right, let's go ahead and dive back into this map tour and move on to 12 bridges. So let's go ahead and pull up Google Maps here again. And here we're going to focus on the 12 Bridges community itself. This is a newer area. It's got a very clean layout, really wide streets. There's trails connecting the neighborhoods, and it does have quick access to Highway 65, which could be important for those that are commuting. Now, the price range here typically runs from the mid 600s into the 900s, depending on really the size and the age of the home. It is a much newer community. And this is one of those neighborhoods where, people move in planning to stay for 5 years, and 15 years later, they're still there. You're going to see, kids riding bikes and neighbors walking dogs at sunset, families at the park every weekend. It is suburban, but it's not boring. Very comfortable, but not sleepy. And hopefully, that makes some sense to you. All right, so back to Google Maps here, and this one's for the retirees. Here we are. This entire section right here is Sun City Lincoln Hills, and it's one of the most active 55 plus communities in Northern California. There's golf courses and recreation centers, clubs, they have the fitness classes, they host concerts there, and there's social groups. I've had my clients tell me that they're busier here in retirement than they were when they were working full time. Now, the homes here generally, they range from the mid 500s into the 800s, and you get a lot of bang for your buck. Now, what's really interesting is how a lot of Sun City buyers are not from Lincoln. They come from all over, really. A lot of Bay Area, a lot from Southern California, and even all the way across the country from New York City. A lot of these buyers will, they'll sell a larger home elsewhere and, downsize and move into Sun City because it's a built-in lifestyle. It's really one of the reasons that Lincoln has such a wide range of ages, within the city compared to most other suburban cities. All right, so for all my golf peeps here, we're pulling up Google Maps again, and we're kind of zooming in on this area. This is Casa Verdera. It's a private country club. It's got everything, elevation changes, views of the valleys, and really, honestly, it's some of the most premium real estate in Lincoln. Homes here are usually, they start around the high 700s, and they easily move into the multi-million-dollar range. Now, even if you don't golf, this area shapes Lincoln's identity. You've got multiple courses throughout the city, including Sun City, which we just talked about. You got the Casa Verdera, and they all add to that really open space and that foothill feel. Now, in this area, you're still close enough to everything, but far enough away that you don't feel boxed. All right, now let's talk about something that doesn't really show up on Zillow, and that's where do people actually work? Most residents of Lincoln fall into a few different buckets. Some work, right here in town, schools, healthcare clinics, logistics, local government, but a large portion of the residents here actually commute. So you can see here, Roseville is about, depending on how deep you are in Lincoln, about 20 minutes or so up 65. and you continue up 65 and kind of pass like through the corner of Rockland, and then you'll hit 80 if you need to get all the way to Sacramento, which is usually around 35 to 45 minutes depending on the traffic. And this opens up a ton of state jobs, hospital systems, universities, and a lot of tech offices and corporate campuses. A lot of my buyers actually will live in Lincoln, but they'll work in Roseville at some of the hospitals. Like here you can see proximity to like Sutter, Roseville, and Kaiser Permanente. And then down over here, a lot of them will work like downtown in some of the Sacramento offices like Capitol Mall. Over here, we also have like the UC Davis Medical Campus. In Capitol Mall, there's a lot of state agencies there as well. And then there's a lot of tech companies up and down all along this I-80 corridor. People living in Lincoln, they trade a slightly longer commute for quieter neighborhoods and newer homes and just, kind of a lot more space. Now, let's talk about my military friends. As we zoom out here and go a little bit more north, you see Beal Air Force Base is roughly about 40 minutes away. As a certified military relocation professional, I work with, a lot of VA buyers regularly, and I connect my military buyers with great lenders who specialize in that VA financing and special unique circumstances that are, around relocating when you're in the military. It's very common for service members to choose Lincoln just really because their families, they want the schools and the parks and the long-term stability of Lincoln, but of course, it's close enough to Beal for the commute. Now, a lot of my clients work in the medical field. Doctors, nurses, administrative staff. I mean, there's just a large gamut of different people that work there. And so I want to spend a little bit more time back on medical campuses. Plus, even if you don't work in the medical field, you may find yourself in need of healthcare service. So let's go ahead and pull up Google Maps here again. And, right here in Lincoln, you have outpatient clinics and medical offices for your everyday needs. But, if you need to get to like the major hospitals, as we zoom out here again, let's look right here. Over here in Roseville, we have Kaiser and Sutter. These are about 10 to 15 minutes away, so a pretty close commute. Then if we zoom back out again to Sacramento, we have full medical systems, including UC Davis Medical Center and Mercy San Juan, and those are over here and over here. And so whether you work in healthcare or just want it nearby, we've got you covered. All right, let's touch on shopping. So, Lincoln does have some, decent local stores, but let's be honest. Let's pull up the map here and look at Roseville Galleria. It's one of the biggest shopping centers in Northern California, and it's about, 20 minutes away or so. But, locally, you do have some really solid, nicer restaurants for date night and some good, mid-range family places and, like a couple classic drive-ins and local joints. It's that very small town California feel, but in a really nice way. And of course, Lincoln has a Leatherby's, and that's right over here. And they do have the Big Daddy Dave's. And yes, I have personally taken down the Big Daddy Dave's challenge myself, and I've done it very quickly, and I didn't even get sick afterwards. If you don't know what the Big Daddy Dave's challenge is, it's a mountain of ice cream, banana split. And they used to do like a thing where you got your picture on the wall. They don't do it anymore, so I got no glory for it. It's just, that's why I have to brag to you about it here. But Leatherby's is, legendary for its giant ice cream sundaes and milkshakes, and they also serve some food. Now, I know we're going through some of this, kind of quickly. So if you'd like some, neighborhood map breakdowns or information on schools or anything else, the link is in the description. Just reach out to me, book a call, and we'll go over and get you exactly what you need. And if you haven't already, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. That way you don't miss out on any future videos and updates in Lincoln or anywhere in Northern California. All right, so really quickly, I'm going to give you just a quick snapshot of home pricing here in Lincoln. Take a look at the map here. And so right here, Lincoln Crossing, we talked about that one. That is the low 400s up to around 900K or so. Moving over here, we have 12 Bridges. That's the mid 600s, and up into the 900s. That's the newer community. Then over here we have Sun City, and that's roughly mid 500s to the 800s. That's a 55 plus community. And then of course over here, we have the big granddaddy Casa Verdera. That's the high 700s to the multi-million-dollar homes. Now for those looking for new construction, they generally start around like the mid 500s and they move upwards from there, depending on like size and upgrades and location. And markets do change, obviously, but this gives you like a good baseline to jump off. All right, so daily life here in Lincoln kind of looks like this. You drop the kids off at school, you grab a coffee, you jump on 65 and head into Roseville, or connect to 80 and head into Sacramento for work. And then you come home to quieter streets and just a really great neighborhood. That kind of rhythm is really why, so many, families are relocating here to Lincoln from, places like, big cities like the Bay Area or Southern California or New York City. Now, for the retired folks that move here, daily life's a little bit different, right? I mean, you start your day with some morning coffee and you jump in your golf cart and kind of, head over to the golf course, play a 9 or 18 holes, and then maybe grab some lunch in the clubhouse, hang out with some friends, and then maybe head home and take a nap and, maybe come back to the clubhouse for some community nightlife and hanging out. So it's really an awesome situation for both families and for retirees. Now, if you're looking for a little bit more excitement, yes, Lincoln is a little more quiet and, I wouldn't call it a bedroom community, but it is the suburbs. You're not too far from old historic Roseville, where they have a small area. It's kind of like a strip, and they have, the bars and the pubs, and you can go have a good time there. And you're not that much further away from downtown Sacramento, where they do have that like true nightlife, big city nightlife. Now, if you want some weekend fun, Lincoln is really located perfectly, kind of in the center of everything. So, you can get to Tahoe, Reno, you can get out to Napa for some wine tasting, go a little bit further and you're at the coast. There's tons of camping all near, all around up 80 and 50. There's ski resorts in the wintertime. You can do multiple things. I mean, you can go snowboarding in the morning and then go wine tasting in the afternoon. And that's all done in a day, and then you return home to your really comfortable, quiet neighborhood. So, for weekend events or weekend getaways, I should say, or if you want to do some more, you get a little bit more action in the evenings, you're just a hop, skip, and a jump away from home. Now, if you found this video helpful, make sure you hit like and subscribe and share it with somebody else that might be thinking about moving here to Lincoln or Northern California. And if you are serious about moving here to Lincoln or anywhere in NorCal, you know where to find me. Are you ready to stop scrolling and start dreaming? Let's make it happen. My calendar link is down there in the description. No pressure, just me listening to you, helping you figure out if Lincoln or anywhere in NorCal is possibly the right move for you next. And when we get on that call, don't forget to ask me about my Heroes program. If you do qualify, we'll go over exactly how much impact that credit can make on you. The average Heroes program recipient, they qualify for $1,500 to $3,000 in credit right off your closing costs. And there's no max. I mean, it scales up with your price. So really a cool benefit, just a way of me saying thank you to you local heroes. And again, if you haven't already, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. That way you don't miss out on any future videos or updates. And I'll see you on the next one. That's a wrap.